Today is the glorious third day. The brutality of Friday, followed by the uncertainty and sadness of Saturday, all of that, the brutality, the uncertainty, the sadness, was shattered into a million pieces on Sunday morning. Today is the glorious third day. As the sun began to crest above the horizon, as nature began to wake and birdsong filled the air, as the dawn of the third day began, on that day something was different. On that day, something had changed. What had been amiss since the first man and woman left the garden in shame? What continued to be uncrossable even after the floodwaters receded from Noah's ark? What remained unfulfilled even after Abraham and Sarah conceived a child? What was in doubt even as the presence of God guided Moses and Israel? What was still incomplete even after the tabernacle was completed? What continued to be a mystery even to wise King Solomon? What remained unattainable even for one after God's own heart like David? What was deemed unclean even for a baptizer named John? On this glorious third day, it was all brought to the promised and prophesied fulfillment. Every moment accounted for, every miracle, every prayer, every sacrifice, every praise, every act of obedience, seconds adding up to hours, adding up to days, adding up to weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, ever building, ever building. Every moment, from in the beginning to it is finished, like the parts of a mass symphony, every instrument had been assembled. As Jesus declared his work was done and exhaled his last human breath, heaven inhaled, preparing to sound the brass and wood instruments. As darkness covered the shaking earth on Friday, as mere mortals saw only death and heard only silence, heaven began to run bows across its strings in preparation. As his lifeless body was taken down and placed in a tomb, heaven's metronome began to set the rhythm of a Redeemer's heartbeat. As the women awoke to go and check on their Lord, the conductor's baton rapped on the stand. The eerie, earthly silence seemed to anticipate what was to come, because dawn was soon breaking. The metronome keeps its steady rhythm, its volume ever building, every musician in place. Eyes on the conductor, the baton raises, and as the first ray of light rises over the horizon, every note begins to rise in unison, ever building, ever building. Then the angel spoke to the women, "Don't be afraid." Every instrument rising, ever building, ever building. I know you're looking for Jesus who was crucified. Every instrument rising, ever building, and with the resounding crescendo of heaven's orchestra, the angel of the Lord declared, "He isn't here, he is risen from the dead." All on that glorious third day. Today is the glorious third day, and the symphony plays on. The rhythm of Jesus' heart still beats, and it beats for you. The composer has written this symphony for you and all of humanity.